Good evening. Can you hear me? Good evening.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes. Thank you so much for accepting to be with us in this Srishti Talks with Hari, Expert Talks with Hari in the Srishti TV. And the 60 minutes, we're going to be having three segments. First segment
Okay.
is about you, your journey. And then the second segment is
Mhm.
about much more deeper of how to live life ardently. And then the third segment is the surprise segment. Okay, so we'll start with who is Miss Neerja Malik. Over to you.
All right. So, first of all, Hari, let me say
Yes,
a big hello to all our viewers. And I thank you. And I
thank you.
definitely thank
Welcome.
Shrishti TV for having me on board. And Neerja Malik. Tan-taran, ting tung. So, I'm 66. And a little bit about myself. I grew up with a lot of love and affection from my family, and I was always a friendly child. People liked to use my shoulders to cry on, to talk on, and to basically confide in me. Right from the age of, well, maybe 3, 4 years, little kids would come to me and tell me their stories. And I grew up and I got married, and guess what? God had a plan. I always feel that God has a plan for you. So after my school, I did my graduation in social work, and then I did my B.Ed. Now, I worked in a school as a social worker first, and then I was the fourth standard class teacher. But guess what? God said, all right, now you are skilled in casework, group work, community work. You are skilled in teaching children, in communicating your thoughts and ideas. Let me make you skilled by giving you a lot of experiences in the university of life. So he definitely had a willing person. I got married. I had a lot of miscarriages, multiple miscarriages. I had a stillborn in the 8th month, and then I had premature twins. I was in hospital for a month before they were born because my BP was 270 by 140. And then 2 months and 5 days before they were supposed to be born, I actually had a cesarean and my twins emerged. And all was well. The twins turned 7. And God said, okay, now, Neerja Malik, things are going to come your way. So I was diagnosed with cancer 22 years back on Friday the 13th, 1998. And yes, I wept for 3 days because I was told that you have 25% chances of survival and not in India. You have to go to America, you have to go to France, where they had started stem cell research. And I wept. I wept for 3 days. Not because I was scared of death, not for myself, but my twins were only 7. After 3 days, tube light, sudden realization that who told me this? Did God come down and say, your days are numbered? Something's going to happen? You're going to die? No. After all, it was a human being. So, no more tears. Baby Johnson shampoo. And I said, I'm going to live for my twins. So, 2 times cancer, 2 years back, 3 times septicemia, various surgeries. And I've been counseling cancer patients for 22 years. I have written a book called I Inspire. I'm in the process of writing another book, and LG, life's good. So, Hari, does that answer your question?
Yes.
Somewhat.
Yes. Thank you so much. Now we move on to the main theme: live ardently.
Yes.
Okay. What is life to you, and how to live it ardently? Over to you.
Wow. Okay. Life is fantastic. Life is wonderful. Life is beautiful. And life is what you make of it, isn't it? So
Yes.
I just feel that it is our perception on what we make of our life. I very firmly believe in love. Love one, love all. My second treasure is fun and laughter. And I feel that there is never enough of fun or laughter. I feel very intensely about God. I believe in Him. And I feel that if you have faith and belief in God, then miracles happen. And when miracles happen, there is such a sense of gratitude. With gratitude, there is abundance. With abundance, you live in the now and you can enjoy life, whatever you might be going through, because God is there, your parents are there, your family, your friends, and most important of all, you yourself. So I feel I enjoy every moment because I love myself. Therefore, I can love everyone. Does that answer your question?
Yes, yes, thank you. Now, when all these things, different stages when initially about the miscarriage and about being detected with cancer, and just to understand and to help people who have something similar or undergoing certain different or similar kind of or different kind of crisis, how do
Yes.
you, what was the mind frame and what did you tell yourself uh, to equip yourself with strength to overcome it?
Okay. So, my parents, first of all, let me tell you that my parents are God loving, not God fearing. And the first thing my mother, I remember right through childhood, she always said, whatever happens, happens for the best. And I would say, Ma, I've broken my wrist. How can it be for the best? I've been shocked. I put a fork when I was maybe 10, 9, 10 years old. I put a fork into a toaster and I got shocked. I said, what good can come out of it? You
Mhm,
know what I realized, Hari?
mhm.
That was the time I realized. That was the day I had to go for a test for an entrance examination in Dehradun. And I was going from the fourth standard to the fifth. And that shock jolted me so much. I must have been brilliant. The nuns decided that I needed to get a double promotion. I went into the sixth. So
Whoa.
I found that there is always a silver lining to every cloud. Now you say cancer twice.
Mhm.
What good did it do? What good did it do? My God, it gave me so many experiences that based on those experiences, I have made an entire cupboard full, more than a cupboard full, a tank full, a water tank full that goes beyond 5 buildings or 5 levels, filled with treasures that I can share with other people who are going through these things. I was diagnosed with cancer and I ran to my father and I said, Papa, I'm going to fight cancer. And do you know what this gentleman told me? This naval officer, this person who won the mention in dispatches and award, he turned to me, an Aryan, and he told me and he said, Beta, why are you using the word fight? Why don't you say face cancer? So for the last 22 years, from the time I started counseling patients, from the time I was actually diagnosed, I've been spreading his words. Do not fight cancer. Face it. And let me tell you, Hari, that all these things have meaning in whatever you go through in life. Anything, broken boards, financial problems, love failure, doing badly in exams. What do? You face it. Because when you face something, the attitude is positivity, and you say, we will overcome. If you fight it, you're aggressive. I'm going to kill that person. I'm going to do that. If you face it, your perception shifts. And you say, all right, I will. Hum honge kamyab. We will overcome. So that there's a slight difference in perception. When people come to me and I'm counseling them, I tell them, I said, by my counseling you, it doesn't mean that the cancer will go away. But what will happen is that I will help you change your perception towards cancer so that you can overcome it positively, happily, and live life to the hilt. Queen size or king size.
Thank you. I like your style of explaining things. It's really nice. Now, next one is, okay, now we are able to understand, accept what's happening, and then move on with that. But when a person talks to you, they understand this and they feel good about themselves, and then they want to face it and then more. But this kind of motivation stays for some time, and then sometimes it might also dip. So how do one has to equip themselves to self-motivate?
Yes, that's
Any
very
tips on
true.
that?
Well, basically, first of all, I'll tell you a simple tip on why people bother to listen to me. The reason is that if you're going through something and a psychologist or a social worker, counselor, doctor, anyone comes and says, hey, be positive.
Mhm.
That person says, hello, do you know what I'm going through? Do you understand? And I say, yes, I do. I know what you've gone through because I've gone through cancer twice. I've gone through septicemia 3 times. I've gone through miscarriages. I've gone through surgeries. I've gone through so much. But the fact of the matter is, buddy, if I can do it, so can you. So that person, I've had patients coming to me who have not wanted to meet me. They have been forced to meet me because they're family members or a doctor or the administrative staff of a hospital wants them to meet me. My friends, they always refer me, please talk to this person. They're very low. And in fact, that is how my counseling started. So strange. Uh, I was diagnosed on Friday the 13th, February 1998. And because I had a social work background, when I had a surgery done, I was so thrilled. I said, I am going to start a support group when I get back to Chennai. And guess what? Someone told me, I'm sorry, you need to be a survivor for 5 years. Hari, I cannot tell you how disappointed, dejected, rejected I felt. And I said, why 5 years? And they said, because if something happens to you before you become a survivor,
Mhm.
people will get disheartened. So I said, all right, okay. But in December of the same year, my uncle came to me and he said, listen, a dear friend of mine, his relative has come from Calcutta and he is in your hospital. My hospital, meaning I was diagnosed in the hospital. So according to my uncle, it became my hospital. So he just asked me one thing, can you go and meet him? And I said, yeah, sure. I went without thinking I should wait for 5 years. I'm not equipped in terms of survivorship to go. I just went out of my heart. I was meant to. I met this guy. I went to the room, and he was sitting slumped on the bed. His wife, it's a Muslim family, the wife was crying into her dupatta. And I went in and I started talking. And within 15 to 20 minutes, Hari, the gentleman he was sitting like a Pathan. The only thing missing was the hookah and the grapes. And she had stopped crying. She was running around trying to make me tea, coffee, biscuits, you name it. And people saw this. They realized the impact that I had on others. They took my number, and my dear Hari, that is how my counseling began. So when you say that people can get motivated for a while, and maybe they have, obviously, there is always a graph in life.
Mhm.
I am with a patient through the diagnosis, through the surgeries, through the chemotherapies, through the radiations, through the testing,
Hmm.
through the entire thing. And I think the positivity, osmosis, the
Mhm.
positivity just goes from me. In fact, I tell all my patients that if you are unable to sleep at night, and thoughts are like little worms that go round and round and round in our brains. At night, your family is asleep, you don't want to wake them up. So you call me day or night, I'm available 24/7. And
Wow.
you know something? If you are upset, whether you talk to me for 20 minutes or 2 hours, I will be able to
Okay. There seems to be some technical glitch. He'll be joining with us soon.
Yes.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Adapting to
Thank
the
you.
new normal. Well,
You know, it's like this when you're busy talking about something and suddenly everything goes chaotic in front of you, you say, Heck, what's happened? So then it's a message to say, Hey, buddy, slow down, take it easy. These things. Now, see, either you get panicky and you get like that, or you laugh over it and you have Hari, who is my counselor, to get you through the motions and get you back on track. So you have the example now right in front of you. This is what I do. So people call me up day or night, I'm there. And they know, they feel the confidence that I will never leave them. And they don't leave me. And I have made so many best friends the world over just because of this reason. And what are my mantras? God is great. This too shall pass. And laughter is the best medicine. Are you there, Hari?
yes, yes. Yes. Yes, I'm there. See, another approach, also in one of your YouTube videos, I was saying, like, approaching every single day as a fresh start of
Yes.
the life from now on. And then that gives a different kind of a motivation. Can you talk on that? Because that was really good. I saw in one of your videos.
So today someone asked me, she said, What was the changing moment in your life? And I said to her, I said, every moment is a changing moment. And what do they say? Nothing is permanent except change. So every second, every minute, every day, you have a new opportunity. And in Hindi, we have a beautiful phrase, and that phrase is Raat gayi, baat gayi. That whatever happens that day, it
Mhm.
ends when the night goes, the matter is gone. So that is a
Mm-mm.
kind of attitude if you have, then you are as excited as a child. I turned 60 and
Mhm.
someone smilingly said, "Oh, so now you're sweet 16." And I said,
Mm.
No, drop the zero. I'm 6. And if someone tells me I'm 66, you're 66, oh, you're sweet 16, I said, No, out of the 66, drop one
Mm.
6. I'm 6.
Mhm.
So it just depends on the attitude. Now tell me, if someone has this attitude, whatever troubles, and lots have come my way, the troubles get fed up and they say, She's too difficult to handle. I was sitting with someone, Hari,
Mhm.
and that person spoke on the phone for 45 minutes with 5 different people. And all she spoke about was her
Mm.
godas and her modas. Now, goda in Punjabi means the knees, and
Okay.
modas is shoulders. So I turned to her and I said, I don't think you love your children. She said, Why? How dare you say this? It was
Mm.
an affront. It was offensive what I said. I said, if you love someone, at least in a 45-minute conversation with 5 different people, you will mention them sometime, once, twice, and you have 3, 4 children. You just didn't mention them. You just kept repeating the troubles you have with your knees and your shoulders. I said, if I was the pain in your godas and modas and in you, I would never want to leave you. Why? Because you are looking after me so well. I want to stay there because you talk about me, you love me, you mention me, you take care of me. I'm not going to leave you. So you understand. This is what it is. If you're in pain, if you're down, sorry to use strong language, shit creek.
Mhm.
And then if you keep talking about it and you keep bringing it up again and again and again, guess what's going to come your way? If you're negative and you keep thinking about the trouble you have, your treatment, your boss, what a terrible problem you've had with
I
everyone.
I can't hear.
You can't hear me? Can you hear me now? Can you hear
I
me
can't hear you.
now? Not at all. Wow.
Sorry. Hello. Ah. No, this is fine. What they said was initially they didn't hear, and then I was also able to hear when you're talking.
Hari, I forgot to tell you one thing. I'm a
Okay.
Gemini, so everything happens
Okay.
to me twice. So, God willing, this will not happen again
No,
because
no,
it's
it
happened
wouldn't.
twice. So now you'll have to jog my memory as to what I was talking
Okay.
about.
No, we were talking about how we start every day as a brand new day of rest of our life.
Yes, yes.
We're talking on
So
that.
I need to tell you one thing that when I wake up,
Hmm.
and I think the first thing that I do is that, well, 22 years back, I was told that I'm not going to be around much longer.
Mm.
So when I wake up, I said, oh, wow, I'm awake in spite of whatever happened the previous days or months or years. And I thank, I thank God. There is immense and deep gratitude to God. And then they also say, Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva Cha. Your mother, father, they are also God. And I feel so happy. You know, you wake up to the chirping of the birds. I love nature. And I find that we have four kingdoms. We have the human kingdom, we have the animal kingdom, we have the vegetable kingdom, and we have the mineral kingdom. And strangely enough, I feel very connected. So, if we can feel very connected to everything around us, imagine what joy we can get every moment of the day. So, you wake up, stretch yourself, feel all right, I'm alive, everything is in order, and start a new day full of gratitude. Because when you have gratitude, you have abundance and you're open. Now, let me tell you another thing. What most people do, which is the question, why me? Now, when someone questions, why me? They come from a space of immense self pity. So, when you are questioning, why me and why was I chosen to go through hurdles, troubles, sickness, illness, uh, at work, everything, then you are literally digging your own grave. Now, when you're digging your grave, the mud, the dirt has to go somewhere. So it falls on you. And you are digging yourself deeper and deeper and deeper. Now, the god, Hanuman, Anjaneya, he's flying overhead. And he says, oh, there's Neerja. Let me help her. But what is Neerja busy doing? She's just digging away. She's so self-centered, full of self-pity, this trouble, that. I'm burdening myself. I'm not even receptive or open to the fact that he wants to help me, or people want to help me, my family wants to help me, my neighbor wants to help me, the milkman, the security. I mean, they're all there to help us, even if with just a smile. No, I'm so busy. A point shouldn't come when you get so depressed, so burdened with your own dirt of your own making that you find it difficult to get out of. Now, unfortunately, nowadays, there is so much of tragedy, there is so much of trouble that people are getting completely bogged down. You have so much of the youth, suicides, tragedy, depression, horror. And all I want to say to them is that when you are undergoing this trauma, Just speak. Just talk. Just unburden yourself. Find someone. You know what happens? There are a lot of youth that have left their colleges, their hostels, they've come home. They feel frustrated, angry, upset. They can't go out. They can't go to the beach. They can't go to the restaurant. They can't have fun with their friends. And then when thoughts keep coming in, you know that making a mountain out of a molehill, I don't blame the children because that is what happens. You become so obsessed and so shaken up by everything. And that is the time when I say, we have compassion for others. Let us shift that kindness, that compassion to ourselves. Let us love ourselves. Let us be compassionate. Let us not be harsh. I failed in an exam, love failure, financial burdens, tragedy, trauma. Let me be a little kind. Let me not be harsh on myself. Second point, you are not alone. Forget Chennai, Tamil Nadu, India, Asia. The whole world is undergoing this. And thankfully, we have cell phones. We have ways of communicating with each other. We have groups. We can share. What was I telling someone the other day? You know, your family loves you. If you are under depression or going through something traumatic, you're not the only one. Your family is suffering more. When they knock on your door and tell you to open the door and say, Beta, come and talk to us. And you say, no one understands me. They don't understand me. You are absolutely right in the feelings that you are going through. But remember that every coin has two sides. And the other side to this coin is that your parents, your family is also suffering about what you're going through. They can't express themselves. They love you. They want to help you, but they cannot express perhaps themselves. Write. Start writing. I remember as a 13-year-old, I was very self conscious, as all adolescents and young people are. If someone looked at me or laughed, I would think they're laughing at me. That is a normal phase that everyone goes through. I feel they're judging me. And we make mountains out of molehills. But the fact of the matter is that 5 years later, even if something happened to me, is it going to make a difference? 10 years later, 20, 100, no one will even remember who you are. Even the people who may have judged you or laughed with you are not going to be there. So, what is important? It is important to have a kind of a balance. It's not swinging either way, kind of a balance. And I'll tell you some tips. You think that when I go for a test, just on the 28th, I went for a CT scan of my chest because I was getting excruciating pain in my ribs. And voila, what did we discover? We discovered that my fifth rib, which was broken in 2000, has now been cut in three parts, and there's one rebellious piece of bone that is floating around on its own. Then we discovered that the sixth rib, which had got pressurized by this non aligned fifth rib, had also broken, and the gap was increasing, it was not healing. That would have happened in 2008. And then, guess what we discovered? We discovered that the fourth rib had broken But guess what? It had also healed. So you take the good, the bad, and the ugly. There are people who say that I am given that which God knows I can bear. God, you know what I say? God's given me a problem. Now it's your problem to give me the solution. I'm free. Because if I kept thinking of all the things I've gone through, I would never be able to talk to my patients. I would never be able to counsel anyone. I would just be so depressed. But I can tackle all that because I know that this too shall pass. Things can never be that bad that you can't find one person who cares for you enough to help and to get you out of that problem. And my blessings to the whole world is yes, we have a lot of acquaintances. That one person who cares for you, even if it is your dog. They do say that dogs or animals can be man's best friend. You just need to talk. I used to pick up a pen and on any paper write poems because I would just unleash, ventilate, verbalize. In those days, we never had cell phones that we could call up friends and complain
Mm.
about our parents and complain about something. I used to do that. And now, at the later age, when I'm going to a hospital for a test of mine, you think my heart doesn't go bum, 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 bum. It does. Boom, putty, boom. What do? I just take a couple of deep breaths. And I figured out that if you go into that space, then I promise you your pulse rate reduces, your heart rate reduces, and a kind of a peace comes over you so that you can tackle.
I think we've lost her again. She'll be coming with us soon, joining us soon. Thank you so much. Welcome again.
I,
Now
I
we are.
can just say, I can just say quickly one thing.
Hmm.
Either, either the show doesn't like me,
No,
or
no,
it
no,
wants me back, or it wants me back again and again.
no, no. It wants you back again and again. We want you back again and again. Now we move on to the third segment, which is the
Yes.
surprise segment, where I'll
Uh-huh.
ask you a couple of questions, interesting questions, where you can spread your creative wing.
All
One,
right.
global cancer counselor of I Inspire, Ms. Neerja Malik, becomes CM of Tamil Nadu. What are the three sectors would she intervene?
Oh boy, that is something. First of all, I'm going to take it for granted that Neerja Malik, as CM, knows how to speak the language Tamil very well
Okay,
so that she
okay,
can address
hmm.
these people.
Okay.
Secondly, I have discovered that in the world over, it is the
Mhm.
women who are managing to do great things in terms of the pandemic and overcoming a lot of other issues. So
Correct.
I would have a solid base of very compassionate, sensitive women to rule Tamil Nadu. And thirdly, I
Mhm.
would involve people not only from a segment of society, but
Mhm.
I would go right down to the brass tacks and have such a force of like minded, professional, caring human beings, not bothered about amassing wealth for themselves, but to ensure that all the lives live well and happily. That is what I would do. Three things.
Thank you. Now you have a magical wand. With the one swish, you can change one thing in the world immediately, even before this program finishes. What would you like to change?
Guess what? All barriers between different religions. We are all one. We are all connected. Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Isai, Jew, Parsi, you name it, from any part of the world. I feel connected to each.
Very
A child cries, whether it's in China or in America or in Australia or in India, sounds the same. It laughs, sounds the same.
good.
Poke it, the blood is the same. What do we make these differences for? I don't understand. Voila.
Voila. Thank you. Now the next, the third question in the surprise segment is: you're given a time machine, and you go back to your college last day. So
Uh-huh.
from there on, if you would like to rewrite your story, how would you like to rewrite?
I wouldn't. Because the person I am today is so satisfied.
Hmm.
In spite of the fact that I've gone through so much, there is always a purpose. And I'm spreading my knowledge, my
Very good.
experiences to a lot of people all over the world. That is why it's global. Because I talk to people all over. I wouldn't change a thing.
Okay.
I
Thank you.
wouldn't.
Thank you so much. Now, it's a gratitude segment where you can thank people. Of course, there'll be a big list, but you can mention few names. Uh, you can go ahead and thank people who have supported you to be who you are today.
Definitely God, definitely my parents, definitely my in laws, definitely my sister, definitely my sisters in law, definitely my friends, all family members. And let me tell you one thing, Hari, even my neighbors, anyone that I've come across or haven't come across, there is so much of love that is being
Mhm.
sent to me. Do you know when I went through my first diagnosis of cancer, I promise you, I would do 1 hour and 45 minutes
Mhm.
every day of Reiki on myself. I was having people, masters of mine, sending me Reiki.
Mm-hmm.
And it is so strange. Now, this is something I need to tell you. I
Mm-hmm.
was diagnosed on Friday the 13th, but I had already enrolled in a Reiki course
Mm-hmm.
14th and 15th. So I
Mm.
rang up my masters and I said, I'm sorry, I can't come. They said, why not? I said, I've been diagnosed with cancer. And guess what they said? They said, come whenever you can. I said, I've got a million tests to do in between the tests. And you know what this group did? They made me sit in the middle on a
Mm.
chair. They all sat around me and they started doing group healing.
Wow.
So I carried on with that healing for an hour
And the
and
allopathy. Okay.
Reiki.
Okay.
Right through my treatment, I was
Right.
doing Reiki on myself, and this group and the masters were sending me Reiki healing. To one point when they got worried. See, my parents live in Bombay, my in laws live in Bombay, sister, everyone. So my mother just said, listen, in Chennai, you have your husband and you have twins who are only 7. Your support system is Bombay. So instead of your support system coming to you, you come to the support system. So my surgery, my chemos, radiation, everything happened in Bombay. I would go and come and go and come. And this, when they were doing Reiki on me,
Mm-hmm.
the masters asked my friends, listen, the Reiki is not going through. Is everything all right?
Mm-hmm.
And my friends called me up and they said, this is what the masters are saying. The Reiki is not going through. Is
Mm.
everything all right? And you could laugh at this. I had been constipated for 9 days. My system was so jammed that the Reiki was not going through. Can you believe this? So, what does it teach you? Once again, you have to be
Wow.
you have
Okay.
to have a clear system for you to receive. So you have to be
Okay.
receptive. And one more point, the second time,
Mm-hmm.
the treatment was a whammy.
Okay.
Okay, it was 98 was the first time, and 18th of November 2004 was the second time.
Mm-hmm.
I did not have even the energy to pray for myself. If my mother said something, this meant yes. This meant no. I didn't have the energy to speak even those 2 words. And then I said to myself, I don't have the energy. Well, I don't need to pray for myself. Why? Because the whole world is praying for me. And it is their prayers, their love and affection that
Mm.
comes to you like a tidal wave, lifts you up out of everything.
Wow. Thanks for sharing that. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I asked 60 minutes of your time, and we just touched 60 minutes of your time. You touch you. I wouldn't say you spoke. You touched many people with your words, and thank you so much for that. Uh, any closing remarks from you, ma'am?
Love to everyone, blessings to everyone. Punjabi jappis and puppies to everyone. And remember, just know that step by step, happily, we can cross this journey of life and move on to greater glory. God is there. He'll take care
Thank,
of us.
thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you, Hari.
Uh,
God bless you.
thank you. That was Ms. Neerja Malik, Global Cancer Counselor, I Inspire, author and speaker. I've seen her on stages many times, and I've seen a lot of her videos. I really do not have words to explain the feeling I'm undergoing with listening to her words and what she has underwent and how she overcame and how she is, how she has inspired and how she is inspiring. This person, whoever she talks with, I'm already receiving messages in my phone that uh, who had people who were affected by COVID, and some of my friends who had other issues, where they say, we don't know what is it, but then in spite of two times the line getting cut, and then whatever she spoke is making us feel warm, and thank you for organizing this show. So I think more people will get benefited by talking to her. And if there's anything, as she really clearly mentioned, if there's any area where mentoring or support is required, please do contact her. It's I Inspire. She's also in Facebook and in Instagram. Thank you.